Welcome to the Cunningham Piano Show podcast. I'm your host, Hugh Sung, and in this podcast, we explore the world of pianos and the people behind them, both the people who make them available and the people who make their livelihood with them. In this episode, we have one of the owners of Cunningham Piano, Tim Oliver, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about a trip that he recently did to the NAMM Show. So, Tim, tell us a little bit first. What is the NAMM Show?
Yeah, sure. The NAMM Show is the National Association of Music Merchants, and it is a decades old trade show that is in Anaheim, California. And this was the first year of the post-COVID era, where it was back to normal back in January. It's always the third week of January. And it's where all the merchants from all the different types of musical instrument manufacturers and retailers and anybody that has anything to do with me. If you want a kazoo, this is where you go to find a kazoo. So the piano end of it is probably the oldest segment of NAMM that's still, displaying, and it's really where you go to see people from all over the world. People from continental Europe, people from Asia, people from just everywhere to show their new innovations, new offerings, new products, to see what we want to bring to Philadelphia. What do we believe is better than what we're currently offering, and how we make plans for the year.
So, would you mind sharing with us a little bit about what you found most helpful during your trip to NAMM?
Well, I've been at Cunningham Piano for 27 years, and I've been an owner for 16 of them, I think, something like that. So I've been going to NAMM for a very, very long time. 7 years ago-ish was when we took on Yamaha as a dealer for our market, and the types of things you look for at NAMM significantly decrease when you are representing the best product in the market. There's not a whole lot more exploring to do when you already have what's considered to be the best product. However, it's always great to touch base with friends in the industry and see what they're doing. And, we're not only distributing Yamaha, we distribute a lot of other brands as well. And so it's helpful to, see what else is out there and who's doing what.
Now, I wanted to maybe jump ahead a little bit and talk about one of the things you were sharing with the team when you got back about the crisis of creativity. We've just gone through a very challenging time, of course, with COVID, the pandemic, everything being shut down. Now things are beginning to come back to normal, but one of the things that you shared with us was a pretty alarming study that NAMM shared. It's not only for but in terms of creativity and how it's being impacted with the young generation, the new generation today. Can you share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Every session I attended, and incidentally, NAMM not only is displaying the products, but there's a lot of sessions that you can go to learn about different facets of the industry or get different perspectives. And every single one was discussing artificial intelligence, AI and its impact on retail now, and how it's going to be exponentially used as we move forward. So one of the things that is at the fore right now is that kids, the younger generation, are so heavily exposed to technology that it is stunting creativity. And
wow, that's really disturbing.
Yeah, and this mirroring with tying with AI is going to be reducing and eliminating different businesses' needs for data dissection, or for understanding the machinations of a certain thing, because we can ask AI to do it.
But
So,
also, you can have AI write you an article. Can AI even paint you a picture? I mean, some of the creative arts are directly under threat, and I think there's even AI apps right now that write songs for you.
well,
So
yeah, and all
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah,
is, AI can only do what we've given it.
yeah.
So, like,
Mm-hmm.
the concept of AI taking over creative spots, really all it can do is take over the work that's already been done. I mean, if you want to ask AI to make a picture of a castle, it'll make a picture of a castle. Well, there's a million pictures of castles out there. It's drawing upon to come up with that picture, right? Um, but if you wanted to come up with something new, it can't make anything new.
Right,
So
right, right.
the future generations are going to be measured in value more by their ability to be creative.
Yeah, yeah.
And so how that ties in with music, of course, is music is one of the fundamental things to help a young person become creative. So um, it only just reinforces our value in the industry. 'Cause AI is never going to. I'm going to say this, and maybe something will happen, but it's never going to replace humans.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is a tool for humans to use. I was
Yeah.
sitting in one of the NAMM breakfasts, and they had an engineer that was there he was one of the principal engineers on Billie Eilish's song that was on the Barbie movie,
Mm-hmm.
and his credentials were more than I can explain. But his take on AI was, we're not going to really understand how to use it in a creative fashion until we try to break it. You know,
Interesting.
he was like, all the ways technology has influenced us as creative people and musicians have all happened when we've used it the wrong way. So he's excited to figure out how to use it the wrong way. Like, so, yeah.
Yeah.
But really, it was a very constant theme
Hmm.
at NAMM, is how is AI changing the way we do business? And I think we're really still asking ourselves that. It
Sure.
certainly is. They were discussing about, and I shared with you off this podcast, about how Walmart is feeding all of its data into AI so
Mm-hmm.
that they can create a virtual model of their store. And then they'll perform game theory to decide how certain changes will impact their revenue stream,
Wow.
and whether or not they want to introduce a new product at a certain time,
Mm-hmm.
and then see how it would behave in this virtual world. And then
Hmm.
they'll make their choices based on a variety of data as to what they'll actually do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. But that huge topic at NAMM, huge.
One of the things I think that the pianists or the piano itself, one of the reasons we are in such a unique position to help foster greater creativities, just for the fact that when you play the piano, each hand stimulates the opposite brain hemisphere. It's one of the only instruments where you get a full, equal brain workout throughout the entire brain. It's a full brain activity. So it impacts not only your spatial movements, your logic, but also your creativity. And people who play the piano have reported greater surges of creativity as well as mental and emotional well-being. So, I think being a piano retailer, we're uniquely positioned to educate folks about the mental and the creative benefits for themselves and especially for kids. And I remember during the pandemic, so many parents coming up to us and saying, we're sick and tired of our kids looking at screens. We want them to
Yeah.
do something that's good for their brain. And now
Yeah.
this is, especially with the rise of AI, creativity, in a sense, paradoxically, is going to be at a higher premium. If you are creative, you will be fine. And if not, watch out.
Well, and that kid that's learning piano at age
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, right? And maybe piano's not the instrument they stick with. Maybe they go to flute,
Sure.
right? By 9, 10, but everything they learned on piano translates,
Right.
right? And then whatever it is they decide to land on, then they're playing in their middle school orchestra, and now they're learning how to behave with colleagues
Right.
and how to work as a team. You know, like learning music isn't even just like what you said about the way it impacts our minds. It's like, okay, that's just on a solitary level.
Yeah.
On a
Yeah.
communal level,
Right.
there's
Yeah.
so many benefits. So,
Right.
um, all the talk about
Communication and empathy and collaboration. Sure. It's just amazing.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Very similar to sports without the headaches.
Or the injuries.
Right. Your knees are fine from piano lessons,
Cool. Well, I wanted to jump ahead. I know you took a couple of really cool pictures. I wanted to throw them up on the screen here and just kind of have you share a little bit about these pictures. So what are we looking at here?
Yeah, that's the main concourse. So the actual convention center is behind me at this point. So I mentioned Yamaha's just immense presence at this event, and so that's the stage that they built in the middle of the main concourse. So that's between. On the left hand side is the Hilton Hotel. On the right hand side is the Marriott Hotel. If you're in the on the left hand side, if you're in the Hilton Hotel and you just go out the back door and across the street, you're in Disneyland. You know,
Yeah, Disneyland's really close to the Anaheim Convention Center, just right across the street.
Just a short walk. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you can imagine, there's just a lot of hotels in this area, but the most expensive ones are the ones on the left and on the right. Right there.
Now we
And
see
then,
the big Yamaha stage. I'm going to just whoa, look at this. This is a live. This is one of the performances on that stage, right?
Yeah, I'll admit I didn't know who Lindsay Sterling was, but I think I'm the last person to find out. So she's very
quite a popular,
one of these people who have millions and millions of people viewing her YouTube videos and all that. She's a violinist. I understand she's actually in her late 30s, which she looks like she could be in her early 20s. But she plays violin and she dances. You know, she said something really I thought was very moving in a moment between songs. There were thousands of people there, and incidentally, I would make a guess, just judging off my past NAMMs, where I know there have been 100,000, 110,000 people descending on this convention in a weekend. I'm going to say this was about half that. I'm waiting for the numbers on that, but I think it was about half. But Lindsay Sterling said, between a couple songs, she said that she felt like she was performing for her colleagues, because she knows everybody that's there has their own personal connection to music. Everybody's got their story. Everybody has their story that's worth hearing about. You know, like it's a weekend full of really cool people. You want to talk to everybody. And she said, all of you also have your dreams of what you want to do in music. And she said, don't ever give up on your dreams. She said, I'm a dancing violinist, and look where I am. I thought that was great.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Let's kind of go through these pictures. So there you are again. And who are these lovely gentlemen?
So the two guys in the middle there are brothers, and they have a restoration facility in Europe. And the fella on the far right is one of their brokers who helps bring them into the country. Super nice guys. And actually, this brings up something else. Those smiles on their faces, it's kind of everybody there. If you want a testament to the impact of music on your life, and you know, if you're not a musician and you're listening to this, you can start now. It's never too late. Absolutely applies. But man, go somewhere where there's 50 to 100,000 musicians.
Yeah.
And just look at how people treat each other.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, everybody had a great time, and everybody was very nice to each other. You know?
Very, very cool. Very cool. All right, so let's move on. Let's see what else we have here. What's this?
Okay, so probably the largest element of the vendors that are displaying there are like guitars, amplifiers, musical instruments for the rock industry. And so Ernie Ball is a string manufacturer for guitars, and this is a vending machine with Ernie Ball strings. So this is a very musician-specific type of
That's
gimmick that they put out there for
very
to
cool.
brand themselves. But absolutely everybody who walked past it took a picture.
That's great.
I don't think I saw anybody actually get any strings out of it.
I'm done now. Skipping ahead. Whoa, hello. Let's get that back again.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at this. This is cool. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, that's a
Who's
Yamaha
that guy?
Well, that's Prince.
That's Prince.
The former artist formerly known as Prince.
That is gorgeous. Wow, look at that.
His purple piano. Hey, Nina, can you? Or is that just me? Oh, I'm sorry. My phone's ringing. Excuse me.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So that's a Yamaha C7X. So it's a 7-foot Yamaha Conservatory Series Grand, and it was painted purple for him. I met the man there who did the work. His name's Justin, wonderful guy. Does all kinds of custom jobs for artists like that. And so yeah, they have it on display. Just for we couldn't play it; it was roped off, but everybody could get their picture with it. And
very cool, very cool.
I think Yamaha just really wanted to be able to show how diverse they are and what they are there. They're the one brand that really speaks to the modern musician. Pop stars gravitate toward it. So that's just an example of people they make happy with their piano.
In one of our future podcast episodes, we're going to talk with one of our colleagues who has a direct connection with Prince. And I can't wait to share the amazing personal stories of all of our teammates here. So, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So anyway, let's move on and see what else we have here. Oh, okay. We've got this. We are now in looks like the Casio station.
Yeah. So that was one of the areas. I actually gave these fellas an order while I was there. Nice new models that they came out with, a little bit on the more affordable side, but really great sound and great touch. So I thought this was something that we should bring into our stores here in Philadelphia for a more price-sensitive option that I think people could be proud of owning.
Cool.
Yeah, and I like the point of purchase displays. That was, I like. Yeah, they're pretty cool. Yeah,
very cool. So. And then we have. What's going on here?
This is an example of NAMM breakfast. So every morning, I don't know how many thousands of people they can fit in this room, but you can just see I'm kind of off to the left-hand side up in the front. And this was actually a seminar on AI, which is what that chart is about up there. But every morning, around 8 o'clock, everybody files in, and I ate breakfast before I got there, but there's trays of eggs and bacon and toast and, coffee and all that. And it's not just spreadsheets. It's actually mostly not spreadsheets. It's actually mostly performers. So like one morning I got to hear Victor Wooten, who's a bass player, best known for Bella Fleck and the Flecktones, but he's very famous on his own right. And he just gave a wonderful session playing and speaking about the value of music and music educators and how it's important to really open your mind. It was interesting. I thought 50 years ago, maybe people wouldn't have given quite the presentation that Victor Wooten did. He was very much like, hey, if you can take this bass guitar and if you want to whack it up, he didn't say this. This was my right. But if you want to whack it up against a wall and you like the sound of it, then great. You made music. It's like, don't get tied into the rules. And I loved that. It was actually very inspiring. I have to admit, I got a little emotional listening to him. What a way to start the day. So that's how NAMM starts every day, is you go into this large room with everybody who's feeling refreshed after a great night, maybe a little hungover. By the way, I never really got on California time when I was out there. So I was in bed pretty much every night, yeah, you get it there in the morning and you have breakfast and you meet people and you get fresh ideas and you get inspired. You really do. You get inspired. And then you go through the day and you explore the different sessions that you might find interesting. You you meet people and you see what new things they're working on. Yeah.
This is so, I mean, for me, I'll never forget my first NAMM experience, just seeing, after having come from kind of a cloistered experience as an institutional musician, being on the faculty of Curtis for many years, and just, not knowing much beyond just my immediate circle of musician friends and performers, and then seeing almost this entire world of pianos and instruments and musicians and music lovers and music supporters. It was like, wow, this world is so much bigger than I ever imagined. It inspired me. I thought it was so thrilling,
And that's the thing, right? Like industry veterans like ourselves, your day to day, kind of get used to what's in front of you, maybe a little jaded, and
you jaded? No.
Yeah, right. But you go there, and it's just like I said, it's a sea of instruments with an army of people that you can relate to on some level, right? That's great. I'll share with you my personal favorite experience.
Okay, sure.
This year, for those who know me on a personal level, they know that I'm the vocalist for an Iron Maiden tribute band. That's how I have my fun when I'm not here. I've got a long history in rock music, so it's not just pianos. And at my hotel bar, I met one of the key managers for Iron Maiden. He's
no way! Seriously?
Wow. For 41 years. And was, on his phone in communication with different band members while
and still managing them?
Yeah, he's 85 years old.
What? That's insane. Yeah. You got to meet him. Okay.
Yeah, his specialty is custom built products. So he's working on a wah-wah pedal right now for the 40th anniversary of the Power Slave album. Wow. Yeah, and it's going to have like the pyramids on it and stuff like that. So for those of you who know what that is, you know what that is. I ended up becoming friends with him. We sat at the hotel bar every evening. And like I said, I never really got on their time. So I was basically on 85-year-old time. And so we sat and had dinner and a couple drinks. And he bought me a couple times. He bought me my beverages, and he was happy to share with me that meant that Iron Maiden was buying my beer.
That is so cool.
Definitely made it taste better. But that was a throw. But that's what happens at NAMM.
You meet the movers and shakers of the music industry, literally.
You do.
Yeah?
You do.
Wow.
You do.
Wow.
And he was explaining to me about how, the members of Maiden are all, they're not people that would have a good experience walking through the normal hallways at NAMM. So he was explaining how the corridors in the back, you can wind people up so he could get Adrian Smith into the Jackson booth, without, oppressive people. I learned a lot of little things through him like that.
That is so cool. Tim, thank you so much. I know it's, NAMM can be overwhelming. There's so much. We could spend hours talking about each and every one, any NAMM experience, but thanks for sharing what you've learned and the interesting insights, and your inspiration is kind of inspiring the whole team, and hopefully getting everybody else excited about music in general. So thank you so much.
I want to thank you for letting me be the guinea pig on the very first podcast. So I hope this works out. It's really cool. I like it.
I hear the Cunningham moving truck pulling into our ramp. So let's close off the show with that. Thanks.
For those who don't know, pianos come and go here every day.
That's right.
If you were here last week, you got to come back now.
There you go.
Okay, see you.
Thanks so much, Tim, and thanks everybody for watching and listening to this episode of the Cunningham Piano Podcast. So hope you enjoyed it.